Alabama killer, James Osgood, a twisted fantasy and its consequences. James Osgood, a 55-year-old man, is scheduled to be executed by the state of Alabama. His crime, the brutal 2010 murder of Tracy Brown. Osgood has admitted his guilt in this horrific act. He has expressed remorse for the pain he inflicted. Remarkably, he has dropped all appeals, actively choosing not to fight his sentence. Osgood believes he deserves the death penalty for his actions. Give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. The murder of Tracy Brown was a crime of unimaginable cruelty. Osgood, along with his girlfriend Tanya Van Dyke, perpetrated this act. Van Dyke was Brown's cousin, adding another layer of betrayal to the tragedy. Prosecutors described the crime as a twisted fantasy brought to life. Osgood himself confessed to the police, detailing the events of that night. His confession painted a disturbing picture of violence and depravity. He and Van Dyke ambushed Brown in her own bedroom. The sanctity of her home was shattered in an instant. They forced her to perform sexual acts against her will. This was a crime of sexual violence and domination. Osgood then slashed Brown's throat multiple times. He further stabbed her in the back, ensuring her death. In his confession, Osgood claimed he saw fear in Brown's eyes. He even stated that he apologized to her during the attack. The trial judge, a seasoned legal professional, was deeply affected by the case. He described the facts as darker than anything he had ever encountered. Osgood's confession to the police was chilling in its detail. He recounted seeing the fear in her eyes, a detail that haunted investigators. He went so far as to urge the judge to impose the death penalty upon him. He seemed to seek this ultimate punishment. Osgood stated his belief in an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, life for a life. This ancient concept of retributive justice resonated with him. He acknowledged the profound wrong he had committed. He accepted the punishment he believed he deserved. During the trial, Osgood's defense attorneys attempted to cast doubt on the confession. They argued that investigators used trickery to elicit the information. The prosecution, however, presented a compelling case against Osgood. They argued that his actions were driven by a twisted fantasy. Prosecutor C.J. Robinson argued that Osgood enjoyed the crime. This assertion painted a picture of a man driven by sadistic impulses. Beneath the surface of this heinous crime lies a history of profound trauma. Osgood's life was marked by abuse, neglect, and mental health issues. He never knew his biological mother. She was a drug-addicted sex worker who was murdered when Osgood was just a baby. Court records reveal a childhood filled with abandonment and sexual abuse. These experiences undoubtedly shaped the man he would become. As an infant, he suffered from severe malnutrition. This early deprivation likely had lasting effects on his development. He was sexually abused by a man at a bar as a child. This horrific event left an indelible scar. He engaged in sexual encounters with other children at the age of 9. This is a disturbing sign of the trauma he had already endured. He fathered a child with a 24-year-old woman when he was only 14. This early parenthood added another layer of complexity to his already troubled life. As a teenager, he was admitted to a psychiatric hospital. This indicates the severity of his mental health struggles. He attempted suicide at least once. This desperate act speaks to the depth of his despair. He was eventually diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder. This diagnosis helps to explain some of his behavior, but does not excuse his actions. His sister testified about their shared traumatic experiences. Her testimony provided a glimpse into the horrors they both endured. Tracy Brown's family has been left to grapple with unimaginable grief. They plan to witness Osgood's execution, seeking a sense of closure. Remarkably, they have forgiven Osgood, at least in their hearts. However, they still believe he deserves the punishment he is about to receive. Brown's stepsister, Trish Jackson, emphasized that Brown was a loving and beautiful woman. She was more than just a victim. She was a person with a life and loved ones. Brown was working to rebuild her life after a divorce. Her dreams were tragically cut short by Osgood's actions. She left behind a daughter who now must live without her mother. She will never have the opportunity to see her grandchildren grow up. The family's presence at the execution reflects their unwavering belief in justice. They seek to honor Tracy's memory and ensure that her killer is held accountable. Brown's stepsister and stepmother will travel from Southern California to witness the execution. This long journey underscores their commitment to seeing justice served. Brown's stepsister, Trish Jackson, said she struggled with the death penalty. Ultimately, she believes it is God's will. Brown's family firmly believes that Osgood is deserving of his sentence. They hope that his execution will bring them some measure of peace